So you've just hit an amazing drive down the middle of the fairway, and then this happens. You top it along the ground, or you hit the ground behind the golf ball. So frustrating, isn't it? How do you become a great ball striker off the fairways? There are two things you're going to need. You're going to need to make sure you need to learn how to get this handle ahead of the golf ball so you can strike the ball, then the ground through impact, but not just that. There's no point striking it well if you haven't got control over this club face. You need to learn the feels of exactly how to control this club face, because if it's waving around all over the place, you might strike it, but then you're missing the greens left and right. In this week's video, I'm going to show you exactly how you go about doing that. And I've got a really cool drill. Stay tuned to the end. That really makes this super, super simple. Now, before I get into the video, look, if you're new to the channel, it's one of your first videos of mine, please consider subscribing. Just press that little bell button, next subscribe button, you get notified every time I release a video, just like this one. Plus, I'll always put a free downloadable practice plan in the description box below, so you'll never have to remember a thing. Okay, so let's help you now become a much better ball striker off the fairway. So we're going to take this step by step, and if you stay tuned to the end, I've got an amazing drill that you can take to the golf course that solidifies all of what we're just about to talk about. So to get a great ball strike, as we said, we need to get this handle ahead every single time. We also need to make sure the club face isn't waving around all over the place. Now, I'm sure you've tried this once or twice, but it doesn't work consistently. And one of the reasons for this is the reason why golfers cannot get this handle ahead of the ball each and every single time for great ball striking is because the club is always approaching the ball at the incorrect angle. Let me show you what I mean. So, and you can do this, by the way, as a drill. You can actually do this as a drill. So grab an alignment stick and just put it up next to the shaft like this, and then just take your normal grip. Now, the problem is this. If you imagine them making a backswing, if you approach the ball, and if you look at this stick here, it's quite what we call a steep. It's very vertical, a steep angle. Your hands are going to have to, unless you're going to break your wrist, hands are going to have to react and flick this. And then look, this alignment stick here is going to flick into your body. So you're getting this flicky strike. You can't keep the handle ahead. This is generally for slicers. If you hook the golf ball, you tend to come in at an angle much more like this. So the club's coming vertically this way. Again, that's the wrong direction, isn't it? So you're then going to have to correct that, and watch. Then you get flicky through the impact area. So it's out of control. But if you're able to approach the ball on the correct arc, so not there, not here, but much more here, watch the difference. As I rotate now naturally through the shot, look how, without me even trying, the alignment stick is naturally missing my body. There's no flick whatsoever. Why is that? Because I'm able to simply rotate through the shot, no problem whatsoever. I haven't to compensate in any shape or form. So how do you go about feeling this? So we're going to keep it really simple to start with, and I'm going to solidify all this with a really fluid drill that you can take to the golf course at the end of the video. But for now, what I want you to do is this. Take your trail hand, turn the muscle inwards towards the body here. Then I want you to do is this. Make a small turn backwards here, okay? Maybe a bit further, and then I want you to imagine your palm of your hand here moving back to the golf ball, like this. Now, when you start this, I want you to watch out for this. You might start to throw the fingers back to the golf ball. When you throw the fingers back to the golf ball, i.e. not the palm, you start to throw the muscle, the outside of this muscle, outwards, and it starts to work in the wrong direction. This look creates that flicky strike. When the muscle's inwards and it stays inwards and you put the palm look through, we're going to get that pressure. So once you've got that sensation, all you've got to make sure is that it's coming on an arc, because look, if it comes on an arc, it's easy to maintain. We've just seen that with the alignment stick. If I slide, I'm going to flick. I won't be able to stop the fingers flicking. Same on the way down, flick. So you just a simple exercise to feel that palm and that pressure. Now, if you play golf right-handed, better left-handed, this works for you too. I want you now to simply do the split hand exercise. So we split the hands and we turn this arm inwards for a second, okay? Now we've got the same sensation. We're going to wind this from the ground upwards. We're going to wind this back to a roughly 45-degree arc. And then all we're going to do is work the club back out in front of us here, and then look around back to the golf ball. At no stage, look, have I released the fingers, release this arm. I am literally working it back around. So look at this here. with a alignment stick. Same principle, look. Work it back down into position. And look here, we're going to turn and really feel that pressure on there. Everything when you want to release, you always want to kind of do this. Release the arms. You've got to get the sensation of what pressure feels like. Just watch out, before we go into the final drill, just watch out that you don't do, which I see a lot of people try and do this, turning forward to try and keep and avoid this shaft missing their body. All I'm doing, look, is I'm turning back and through, feeling that motion there, okay? And as I'm doing this, my body's working upwards. It's working upwards. It's not working around. I'm working back here, look. And then look, as I'm working it, not there, upwards. Almost, you can imagine, I'm spiraling this way with my muscle too, all right? All the way back and all the way through. So I want you to rehearse this over and over again to really get a feeling of this pressure through the impact area. But just doing that alone can be a little bit wooden. So how do you add some rhythm to this so you can take it to a golf course? Enter the paintbrush. Now, we're going to hit ball in a second, but this is a really, really nice image. So we've just said, look, we want to put pressure on this ball. Well, watch this. With a paintbrush, I am going to paint the wall. And look, I'm putting pressure on the wall with the paintbrush. I'm wiping the wall, putting pressure on the way down, still putting pressure on the way down. I'm painting the wall, but this is where it changes. So it isn't just wooden all the way through. You've got to time the release. So now, as I'm drawing this arc, I am now on this section, I'm not painting the wall, I am splattering the wall. So I'm going to throw the paint off the paintbrush. Now the difference is it's when do you throw that paint. If you throw that paint too early, you're going to create a splatter here. We want to keep the paint in the wall as long as we can, and then we splatter it much later in the swing. What I love about this, by the way, is if you visualize this, you can splatter it on an arc too. So really, as opposed to getting steep, which is going to get flicky, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. You're painting the arc, then you're splattering the arc on this side. You might be playing golf right-handed, but left-handed dominant. Not a problem. Do it in your reverse hand. Paint, don't splatter. Paint the wall. Paint, 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 then splatter right at the end. This is going to give you that sense of compression through the impact area. So once you've done that, it's time to pick up a club and do exactly the same thing. Now you've got the images, you've rehearsed it a little bit here, you've got a sense of those muscles working. Now this is it. You're going to paint the wall back here, back through, and then look, I'm rotating through. I am going to splatter it on this side. I am not going to splatter it too early. I'm going to splatter it on this side. Let's have a look at this in action. Beautiful strike. Beautiful strike. So look at the difference there. Ball, turf, strike. This is how you're going to start to compress. Now, just one thing I would just add to this before we finish. If you're painting, okay, and we're working on this, you might be a natural over the topper. So when you're painting, you might want to feel like your arc is over there somewhere. So because you need to exaggerate this. So paint, and when you're creating the arc here, paint over to the right-hand side if you're a right-hander, and splatter the arc this way. This is going to give you the sensation of countering that slice. If you hook the golf ball, you are too much over here. So when you imagine painting or creating the shape, you're going to paint around and you're going to splatter more to the left-hand side. Again, you're reversing the process, again, helping you to reduce that arc and that spin. So just a summary. How do you keep the handle ahead? You've got to come in from the right position. You've got to come in from an arc. How do you learn to feel this position? Well, you grab an alignment stick, put it up the club, split the hands, works for both of you then. Turn the muscle inwards, make a turn, just simply turn it. Put the club behind you at an angle. Then from here, look, don't get the shaft going steep, don't get the shaft going steep, work it back. Keep the palm working at the golf ball here. Feel what that pressure feels like. My muscles turned inwards. I'm not allowing this to happen. Okay, get that sensation. Once you've done that, you could even with this, start to add some, throw the paint, throw the paint, throw the paint. Really sense that motion. backwards and forwards. This is not wooden, look, but I'm still getting that motion. Once you've done that, visualize the paint, throw the paint back, splatter this wall, have some fun, and that should help you start striking those irons so much better. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Remember, I'll put a free downloadable practice plan in the description box below, so you'll never have to remember a thing. And of course, look, this is one of your first videos and you're new to the channel, come and join the community by pressing that subscribe button and the bell. It's completely free to do so. But until next week, have a great golfing week.